Hello, I'm Brian Anderson. Welcome to Dynamo TV. This is our Before the Breakthrough series in which we will be interviewing past and present players about their youth careers. We'll hear all about their trials and tribulations, lessons they learned, and hopefully inspire you. This first session is with Jamie Gullan, current St Johnstone attacker and Youth Scottish Cup winner with Hibs. Please enjoy. Right, Jamie, thanks very much for coming in to do this for the second time. Right, we've got some quick fire questions just for everyone to get to know you first. So, tea or coffee?
Coffee. Yeah.
Film or series?
Series.
Grass or 4G?
Grass.
In swinger or out swinger?
In swinger.
Why?
To get more whip in the ball.
And then goal or assist?
Goal.
Goal.
Yeah.
Right, so now that we know you well, do you want to tell us about your earliest memories at all of football, how it came to be a part of your life?
Just as soon as I could walk was always, from what I've been told, kicking a ball. And then that kind of developed just every day, dragging family members out to anywhere, like the grassy bit beside the house, and just kicking a ball every day. And then when it came to primary school, coming back from school, and the first thing I would do is get changed and then get the football out we go and find a mate or two, and just constantly playing football. And that was kind of first memories.
And can you remember first sort of players you looked up to, who your first heroes in the game were?
Thierry Henry. I think my brother and dad loved him. We were Arsenal fans growing up, and he was kind of the first big name that I remember off the top of my head. The first player that I kind of grew up loving and watching.
I never thought this before, but did you start playing on the left because of that, or was that just natural?
No, I didn't have anything. Didn't have anything to do with that. I think he was a lot quicker than me. And this was obviously an unbelievable player, but no, I think when I was younger, I just had a decent strike in me, so that's why I got put up front.
Well, so that's just your sort of your entry into football, I suppose. Primary school football team? Did you?
Buxton Primary. We had a good team, to be fair. We had loads of boys that love football. We were winning loads of games. That was first kind of introduction into playing in a team. But really enjoyed it. I think we went a couple of years unbeaten, so got into a winning habit quite early, which was fun. But that was first memories of being a part of the team.
That's brilliant. And then club football, can you remember what age you were when that sort of came around and what that looked like?
I think it got spotted from I was playing for my school team, and one of the dads there was part of Salvesen, and he brought me along there to see if I would enjoy it, and loved it, and played for them for a bit. And then
what age was that?
I would say it'd be seven. Around about 7 years old.
See at that, what is that like? Can you remember if that's like training once a week and then 5-a-sides at the weekends, or what's that actually look like?
My first memories of Salvesen was, I don't know, it might have been winter, but we were training in a hall.
Like a gym hall.
A gym hall, yeah. And it was probably once or twice a week.
Well, one of the green fuzzy balls.
Yeah, the green balls, the school PE hall. And that was it. Yeah, that was the first memories of Salvesen.
So from Salvesen, indoor halls and 5s or 7s to what's the next part of the journey?
It was kind of trialling at Celtic, trialling at Hearts. I think I had a really short spell at Spartans.
Oh, did you?
Just like maybe a month or two. And then was training at Bowness with Celtic for a bit, just trialling out. And then got to a stage where I think at 8 years old it was kind of a decision between Celtic or Hearts. And
you know what I'm fascinated about this. So how does that happen at that age? Like, is there a guy at the side of the pitch with a long coat on that you can tell is from Hearts and you get nervous about, or Celtic?
No, completely unaware. I think it was obviously a scout would maybe get in touch with the club to then get in touch with my dad, or I think maybe they got speaking at a game. I honestly don't know, but yeah, one way or another managed to get a trial at these clubs, and yeah, maybe it came from the coach. Maybe they recommended me to a scout. I'm not 100% sure on how it came about, but I wasn't aware of a scout being there watching me. But yeah, it kind of came about one way or another, and yeah, just had to make a decision at 8 years old between the two and chose Hearts.
See, and so you know, even at that age, you go to a new environment for a trial training under the sort of the badge of these professional clubs. Like, do you feel intimidated, or like, do you not even care about that kind of stuff at that stage? What you know, what's the sort of mental feeling like at that stage and age?
It was intimidating. I thought just going from a boys' club to then trialling with Celtic, it was kind of like a massive step up, and obviously the quality of players was, even at that age, was brilliant. Yeah, I'd say
was
quite a shy guy
in terms of quality of players and training that was different even at that age. Was it noticeable?
There was some things that some boys would do at that age, and I thought, yeah, they're way better than me. And then there'd obviously there'd be more people kind of my level, but then there'd be a few that you think, yeah, they're pretty good, but can't remember any names or anything like that. Just from like thinking back, there was definitely times. I remember one session we were at Celtic working on like step overs and tricks, and I couldn't grasp any of them, and I didn't know how to do a step over. And then I'm looking at other boys and they're flying through doing 3 or 4, and I'm thinking, like, what's going on here? But yeah,
still can't do a step over.
Still can't do that. I know, still can't do it. Yeah. It'd be like was it Phil Neville doing the one? Is that no, it was that was the first kind of memory of me thinking, yeah, this is a step up. But yeah, at that age I was quite a shy guy, and it was quite daunting going into a new environment.
How do you sort of get past that? Is that, you know, do you have people around you that are not, like, most people just sort of default to their dad or their mum, or even a big brother or something?
Yeah.
You know, or you've got some people that really are self-assured, and you know, how do you sort of? I know that we're talking about an 8-year-old version of you here, but what was your support network like to do that?
To be fair, brilliant. Like, I had a really good supportive family at that age, and still now in terms of football, just been really supportive. And say my dad was huge, because he would come to most sessions and most games, and he would like be really kind of comforting. He wouldn't be too intense. So it was all about enjoyment for him. It was just as long as I was enjoying going to training, playing games, that's all that mattered for him. It wasn't kind of how well I played or if I scored goals or anything like that. It was just if I came back in the car after and had a smile on my face, that's all he kind of worried about, which was brilliant. And that in itself took pressure off and kind of made me feel a bit more comfortable. And yeah, I think just the more you train with, like, obviously the first session, the first week or so might be daunting for people, but the more you train and the more you get used to being around the people, the more kind of settled you feel. And I think just be patient with yourself at the start, and then
it's like
you will relax eventually.
It's like time will. That, I think that's brilliant there, what you said about the atmosphere and the environment that you were getting emitted though away from the actual football, because I can imagine that really sort of does transcend into yourself and go, actually, I'm supposed to be enjoying this, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, the older we got, the more serious it got in terms of conversation and stuff. Like now, obviously, as I'm an adult and I've been in the game a long time, like if I have a bad game, he'll tell me. But then you know yourself if you've had a bad game. So
Well, and the other thing I was thinking about though was, I can remember when I was at under 10s at Merky, and one of the parents would go absolutely rage at my teammate, and you know, it's just like that can't be helpful.
yeah.
And then I can also remember the same parent trying to then like overstep the parent to coach boundary. If you know what I mean.
Telling coaches what they should be doing.
And like just that's not. It doesn't feel like that is a healthy environment. Now I understand people want their kids to do well, so therefore you get a lot of intensity there sometimes. But I like the situation you describe.
Yeah. I think if it was the other way, I think I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. If it was kind of, you know, getting back in the car at that age, and if I've had a bad session, getting shouted at or reminded of it and pressurised to do well, probably wouldn't have enjoyed it that much.
So do you want to give us the sort of youth career timeline? Give us the thumbnail of you've obviously just mentioned Salve then into trials, but take us up to getting your pro contract.
So it was aged 8 signing for Hearts, and then played all the way through the age groups up until under 16s. Then got released from Hearts at kind of 16 years old. Took a few months away from football to have fun with mates and switch off from it and just kind of take in what had happened. And then, yeah, I got a trial at Hibs. My dad got in contact with, or emailed someone at Hibs to ask for a trial.
Do you know what, I was just about to, I love these things about like the actual mechanics of what happens, and that's what it is. Your dad did the outreach for you.
He never told me for ages.
Right.
He just came to me and said, "Oh, you've got a trial at Hibs." Probably told me that they got in contact with him. But no, he was the one that sorted that. He emailed.
Did you have the same, you know, when we talked about you went to that trial when you were dead young, did you have the same fear factor type thing at that age, or are you a lot more?
I think you're a lot older, you've kind of gained more experience on football and life, like you've learnt a lot more, but it still is daunting, yeah. Like if I was at this age to join a new team tomorrow, it would still be a kind of a nerve-wracking experience for maybe the first day or two, but at that age, definitely, yeah. Even when I went to Hibs on trial for that week, I was nervous, yeah, because I knew at that time in my life and kind of youth career that it was a big chance for me to kind of sign for a pro club, and if I didn't get signed, after the trial, then I was probably going back to playing kind of boys club football. So yeah, it was quite a pressure week, but yeah, ended up luckily getting a contract, and then had a year at under 17s at Hibs, and that's when at the end of that season had a really good year, and then got a professional contract. So signed that at maybe late 17, maybe early 18s. And it would be 17, yeah, I was 17 at the time when I signed.
So did you leave school at the end of 5th year then, or
in the
6th year?
Middle of 5th year.
Because one of the things I was going to ask you was, did football encroach into your like other parts of your life that you, and now look, I'm not saying people need to finish 5th year, but you know, education, things like that.
Yeah, so I remember I had an exam the day after I got released off Hearts. I think it must have been
like a standard
fourth year ones.
Right.
And after 10 minutes I walked out of the exam.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Because my head was like, I just was so kind of heartbroken from getting released from Hearts.
What subject was it? Can you remember?
Math.
Right.
I probably wouldn't have done well anyway, but yeah, the first chance I got to leave, I left because I just wasn't feeling it at all. Just couldn't focus, couldn't concentrate, and the kind of getting released off Hearts did kind of take a while to kind of get over, but yeah,
I can see how you needed 3 months actually now when you've said that. To completely decompress,
just to get away from football for a while. You know, still playing with mates every now and again, kind of at the Astro, or but I wasn't focused on playing for a team or anything like that. It was just 3 months to kind of go be a 15, 16-year-old kid and just
that life stage,
and just just switch off from football, and then I was kind of ready to go into that trial. I reckon it was August time. Got released off Hearts probably like May time, so it was kind of like May, June, July, and then back into it in August. But yeah, no, it did affect kind of other areas of life too, kind of youth football. Yeah.
What were the other tough moments? Did you go through injuries, position changes, other team players or peers that overtook you, and took your positions? What are the other sort of tough moments that you have to, as a sort of teenager or youngster in football, almost grind through?
There was injuries that I remember. It was Osgood Slatters, which probably many young kids and young footballers will go through. That kind of hit me quite hard for probably half a season. Was kind of struggling to kind of walk after some sessions. It got that bad, so it was just kind of the enjoyment of football got completely sucked out of me, and it was just like I just wasn't enjoying football at all. And that was where it was good to have a supportive family who obviously spoke to me a lot, didn't put any pressure on me to carry on football. It was my decision, but yeah, stuck with it and got over the injuries, and thankfully. But that was kind of the first injury as such that I remember, and that was tough to kind of get your head around.
So you've got like those injuries, and then a year or so later, like you leave. Did you ever think about packing it in, or was it not that drastic?
No, it was that drastic. There was a time I remember just coming home and just thinking that I'm just not enjoying it at all, and that could. I mean, I'm glad now I stuck with it, but at the time it was definitely a big decision to make, and I think at the time I was absolutely loving golf, and I was thinking, I could go down that route, but no, it was just looking back now, thankfully, just got over the injuries and managed to keep going, and it was good.
Interesting, you mentioned golf there. Were you away from, like, it's funny, I always think of just like academy players being machines that train all the time, and like away from football, other sports, golf?
Yeah, golf, tennis, just normal like PE stuff at school. I was just always doing something within sports, like just always been that type of person that's always outdoors and always playing some sort of sport. So that just anything, to be honest.
I think the tennis one's so interesting. I learned recently that the movements and the sort of transferability of the short, sharp sprints and that are one of the most sort of progressive for football and complementary. Do you notice these things?
Not as a youngster, never, but now thinking about it, 100%. Like you're always on your toes. You're always little sharp movements, kind of bursting to get to the net, reacting to other people, and the movements are like specific to football as well, 100%.
It's definitely, when you're growing up playing multiple sports, I think it's definitely a benefit, isn't it?
100%. I think as a youngster, just try as many sports as you can, 100%, and that will make you fitter and make you realise if you enjoy football as much and stuff like that. So,
And even interestingly, what I was thinking there was, so you mentioned golf and tennis, which are sort of more individual type sports, to football, which is, you know, very team, changing room, lots of connected people. What would you say you learned in the sort of changing room football environment that are skills, you know, that you sort of use on an ongoing basis?
Just communication, how to communicate with a lot of different people from different backgrounds, and how to handle yourself in different situations. Kind of, obviously you've got 20 boys who are always, you know, loud and got their opinions, so you learn to stick up for yourself at times when, you know, people have opinions of you and stuff like that, and just really how to handle kind of social situations and meet loads of people.
Those social and communication skills are they're vital for navigating life as well, almost, aren't they? That's one of the things I do really enjoy about team sports. You know, even in adulthood, I think they're very maintainable. So in a changing room, particularly in I was going to say particularly in teenage years actually, but this is probably true for every age group. You'll have boys at the much more outgoing end of the spectrum that are allowed, probably annoy the coaches and the player, down to the people that are a bit more reserved. Where are you on the scale, and who do you gravitate to in your youth
I was
days?
much more reserved as a youth player, 100%. Took a long time for me to probably come out my shell, but I was a lot more on the kind of reserve side. I think, to be fair, I enjoyed obviously changing rooms with boys who were loud, and kind of the opposite, because I mean they were always having a laugh, and they would, it'd be funny at times, but no, personally was always kind of more reserved. 100%.
Would you ever have been intimidated at all by the sort of louder, almost more aggressive teammates that maybe knock your confidence a wee bit? Would that ever have happened to you at all?
Yeah, probably would have. I think, as I said, I was quite shy and reserved, so if, you know, you felt that someone was kind of confident and kind of knew more about the game than you or something like that, and said something to you, that would probably knock my confidence, 100%. Probably take things easier to heart than other people. But then obviously that's when you learn to sometimes stick up for yourself, or you learn of ways to deal with it. So
You also learn a lot about your other teammates as well, who, you know, I'm not saying there'll be situations where people are saying, "Oh, Jamie, you're no good, what's this, that?" And then somebody jumps in and sticks up for you. It's more just you sort of see how other people interact and engage, and you sort of know who you can trust. And
I mean, there's not moments or people that I remember being like, "Oh, he's said this or he's done that," because I mean the majority you got along with, really nice guys, really good people, but I think just more it comes from me as a person. Like, if say someone did say something, I would take it to heart. Yeah, definitely.
So then, thinking about, like, you know, extending into your actual playing career, so you've obviously ended up as an attacker, as I normally say, right, rather than saying a position for you. What were you always sort of on the attacking end of the pitch? Did you spend time in any other ends of the pitch, or
probably spent a brief spell kind of back in centre mid as probably like a 13, 14-year-old, but apart from that, was always up front. Sometimes in different positions, right enough, so sometimes off the left, sometimes in behind a striker, but was always an attacker. I love scoring goals. That was what brought me kind of enjoyment of football, was putting the ball in the net and getting shots away and that side of it. So, I mean, I probably didn't put a slide tackle until I was about 23, so was always just attacking,
I suppose even going across, like, from left to right and up front and then through the middle. That is 4 or 5 different positions, really, isn't it? I know you're sort of on the attacking end of the pitch, but you need to use different strengths across all of those.
100%.
Were you in? I think I've mentioned this to you before. Like, I had a period when I was younger, up front, and I scored something like 4 in, quite a lot of games.
Yeah.
You said that you loved goals. Were you one of these strikers that scored goals for fun all the way through, and it came easy to you, or how did that transpire for you?
See, definitely when I was younger, they scored a lot of goals. Kind of the start at Hearts and primary school football, all that sort of stuff. I was always banging goals in, but then I think every striker in their career always hits moments where you don't score, and that probably came around the same time as sort of hit the first injury problem, and then you're in and out of games, you're not playing consistently, and then you're not scoring goals, and that's all you've ever known. So then that's probably the first, I don't know, goal drought or whatever, but the first time I felt like I wasn't scoring goals was probably around kind of 14, 15-ish. Kind of probably when the injury started,
Aye, but that, I think, as you say, you're always going to have like certain spells where that happens, and then I always think it's quite interesting just in terms of, so you sound and seem like you've got like a natural finishing ability, but natural might be the wrong word, right? But these days there's lots of like one-to-one skills schools, finishing, sort of, one-to-one coaching type things.
Yeah.
Did you do any of that to work on your technique, or were you mainly through your like just your training at the clubs?
Be training at clubs, and to be fair, I think most of where my kind of love for shooting and scoring goals came from just time spent with your mates at the park, and just always kicking a ball against the wall or at the park in the back garden. Just the thing that you always want to do is score goals when you're younger, and that's the fun part. So I think just working, just constant repetition of that, always playing football and kicking the ball as hard as you can when you're younger, and just constantly just giving yourself chances away from training to work on it as well.
That's quite interesting. So you're sort of 10,000 hours, if you like. A lot of that you think was done just, in and around walls, fields, and wherever you could get a chance to.
Yeah, I remember we've got a guy used to live in the street, Lewis Temple, who's a few doors down from me, and we'd honestly play from the minute we got home from school till it was dark.
Aye.
One would go on goals, one would hit shots. And if you think about that over every day, over a few year period, you're gonna get better, and you're gonna get more used to striking the ball in different ways and working on both feet, and just spending a lot of time away from the actual training sessions is how I think I developed a kind of good strike, and your timing and your coordination and stuff. Aye. So I think that would be for me.
I know what you mean. And I suppose in modern day life, a lot of that has to be turned into like actual structured stuff. Yeah. So I do get that. It's like technique and all that is interesting. I also think just like throughout a youth career, like mentors and coaches are like vitally important. Have you got any that jump out to you as like the sort of really good coaches that helped you at sort of formative stages?
I remember just the coaches at Hearts that I had at the start, kind of, like Andy Coventry's, what he called, Siegs, John Lawson.
And why were they so good?
So they just made it enjoyable. We're always doing something fun. You're always leaving with a smile on your face, and there wasn't too much kind of pressure, and it was just, you could go there, enjoy yourself, learn a few things, and yeah, go home happy. And
how did they make it fun? Like, and
just so enthusiastic. Always kind of like encouraging you and wanting to help you, and yeah, just making it a nice place to go and enjoy the start of football, really. And it's like no pressure, no kind of wasn't too strict or anything like that. It was just just a fun environment.
that's that and I suppose you do often hear people say that they come through the academies that really felt like intense pressure like the whole way through. If you've got coaches doing that I can imagine, almost like what you were saying about your dad earlier, you know, like you'll feel like you can be at your best rather than worrying about being at your best. How disciplined as you sort of begin to get older would you say you were about? I know we mentioned like other sports and things like that, but would you be quite focused on looking after yourself, sticking to a certain diet, following a regime, wrong word, but really sort of adapting your lifestyle even at a sort of teenage year type spell?
I think as I got older, yeah, but when I was younger, no, like I wasn't kind of thinking about like stuff like that away from football. But obviously now you have to, and I'd say definitely going into the teenage years, 100%, because that's the years you're developing, and then you're trying to catch the eye of kind of professional teams and stuff. So you need to be aware of kind of what you're putting in, and
is it quite sort of like strict upon you from the academies, or do you get like a loose structure and you have to work to that? What's the sort of?
I mean, when you were younger, I remember us getting nutrition kind of books where you had to write down what you ate away from football. Then you'd bring that in for the physios or sports scientists to have a look at, and then they'd maybe give you stretching routines or stuff like that away from football. But that was probably it. There wasn't like you have to do this or you have to do that. Just kind of basic stuff to do away from football, to try and help you.
Yeah, that sounds good. When does like gyms and strength work and that sort of appear across your life cycle?
I'd say it was probably, I could be wrong, but I think maybe 14.
Right.
I was maybe 14, 15. First kind of introduction to gym work, and obviously it's quite basic at the start. You're not like chucking dumbbells about and stuff like that, but it's more kind of movement based stuff, and probably trying to work on getting a bit faster, a bit more explosive, and I'd say that. And then I think it really kind of ramped up when I went to Hibs. That's when I remember the heavier weights started to come, the more kind of, not powerlifting, but the more kind of
compound movements
and stuff like your power movements, hand cleans, all that sort of stuff came in. And I'd say under 17s at Hibs, that's when we started to learn all about that, the proper movement stuff.
Which does feel like your body naturally will be sort of getting more ready and used to that, because even up to, you mentioned 14, 15 there'll be like a range of people within your peer group that are smaller, not as fast to bigger, like got the most powerful shot you think you've ever seen. I'll also often think this is a total like probably myth, but academies are just full of these huge kids that are, were you one of the sort of bigger kids in your age group and peer group, or
nah, not really
fast and strong?
Nah, definitely wasn't. No, I'd say I was probably a bit of a late developer. Kind of first time I kind of felt at my age where I was physically fast and physically strong was probably under 17s at Hibs. I don't know if that's when correlation to when started doing all the gym work. I don't know, it could have been, but that's the first time I remember in my age group being kind of faster and stronger than everyone. But before that, all the way through the youth setup, I mean, I was never blessed with lightning pace. But yeah, it was just, I don't know, I'd say I was probably a late developer, yeah. And I wasn't the quickest, I wasn't the strongest, but was just had a really powerful shot, which helped. I was getting into positions that I could score goals, and yeah, I was a good goal scorer when I was younger, but I wouldn't say physically I was the best, no, definitely not.
Aye, fair enough. Right, one more sort of serious one and then we'll do some more light-hearted ones to finish. Yeah. Taking feedback from coaches, you strike me as quite a calm character that would be open to feedback. Mm-hmm. How have you sort of dealt with feedback across your career, particularly when it's feedback you didn't expect in the youth ages?
I think like touching back to what we said at the start, when I was quite shy and reserved, unexpected feedback or kind of, I don't want to say criticism because it's obviously sounds quite negative, but I would probably take it quite bad, yeah, and let it affect me, and I didn't know how to deal with it, so I'd say it definitely would have knocked my confidence, and yeah, it's just learning about ways to deal with that, and I guess the older you get, the more criticism you get, the better you are to handle it. So yeah, I think but I do remember at the start, like if I got some criticism or feedback that I didn't expect, I would be a bit like, well, I don't know what to do here. I don't know how to handle it. I don't know what to do with that information. So I would just go into my shell and just let it affect me.
Do you think a lot of this comes down to like the relationship you develop between your coaches? Because I would probably have said, like, I would be the opposite, for example, if, and particularly if it's like in-game feedback, if a coach shouted something at me that I disagreed with, I wouldn't argue back, but I'd be like, right, I'll show them, I'll get angry and probably have a really good remainder of the game. Where, but the coaches knew that about me, if you know what I mean. So, but other players, if they did that too, it'd be like, actually, we need to sub him off in 5 minutes. We've totally shattered his afternoon.
I'd say I was more on that side than the kind of I'll prove you wrong sort of thing. I mean, I wouldn't say that now, but definitely as a kid, I was more I wouldn't handle it well. And yeah, I would probably, if it was coming from the side and I'm on the pitch, I'd probably just go into my shell and probably not want the ball as much as I did before. I think I was more that type of player, which obviously looking back, it kind of annoys me because I wish I wasn't, but that's you can't change it. Then the more you go through those experiences, the more you learn from it. And yeah, as I said, like now I can obviously deal with it a lot better than I could back then. So.
Right, let's have some nice memories then. So can you remember the point in your career where you thought, right, I'm going to be a pro player? This, I've got enough proof for myself now. Here's the moment it's going to happen.
It was always like I always wanted to. That was the only thing I kind of wanted to do, but I was more just playing out of enjoyment. But then I think when I joined Hibs, when I got that trial, got signed, and then had that good year where I scored a lot of goals, I thought, yeah, I could make it here. And because I was so close to the kind of professional game, and to have the season I had, I thought, yeah, I can do it. And yeah, thankfully at the end of that year, the professional contract came, which was huge. So that was the next step. So yeah, that was a time where I thought, yeah, I can do this.
Brilliant. And I know you've told me this before, but again, one of my favourite bits is like, what does the professional contract offer look like? Does somebody come in and sort of say, oh, you're going to get represented by this guy, here's what it could look? Or
no, the first one it's just done by your mum and dad. You just go into a meeting and then
you come
the contract's put up. You don't really know what you're doing, but you just sign it and
that must have been one of the best days of your life, though.
100%. Yeah, it was unbelievable. I remember at the time it was. I think me and Ryan Porteous got to go to the end of season Hibs Awards, I think, and it was Alan Stubbs, Eddie May, Lewis Stevenson, Paul Hanlon, and the two of us that got announced as kind of the two that were getting promoted to the not first team, to the professional.
Yeah,
Like we were getting a
yeah,
professional
yeah.
contract. And I remember going up on stage and just completely froze. It's the first time being up in front of like loads of people,
Yeah.
the light in your face, and I remember they were asking questions, and I honestly probably was one word answers, and it was just going bright red. But away from that, yeah, it was unbelievable. It was the best moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's class. You were saying something there that made me want to ask something else, but it's gone. Right, give me one favourite youth teammate to play with and one to share a changing room with.
I think growing up at Hearts, played with a guy called Danny Bauer, who was there the whole time that I was there, and he was just a great guy, funny, was always good to be around, was always kind of making everyone laugh and like getting all the boys together and stuff.
Those people are so infectious in a good way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the people you remember as well, because like you had a lot of good times with them and stuff, and obviously that was probably like a 7-8 year period where we were there together. So yeah, coming up for the youth academy, yeah, it was him. And then at Hibs, sharing a changing room with boys I'm still best pals with now. People like Josh Campbell, Fraser Murray, loads more, Ollie Shaw, stuff like that. Still see them most weeks now. I mean, that came from sharing a changing room with them for a year. So,
and I think I know what the answer to this is going to be then. So your best moment in your entire youth career, favourite memory,
winning the Youth Cup with Hibs.
Yeah, and all those boys you were just
it's that. It's basically like the core of that group. We still keep in touch now. We still got a group chat now, and I think because you've tasted like we had such a good year, and then we ended it with the Youth Cup win. Those memories that you made in that time were unbelievable, and the bonds that we made along the way, were brilliant, and that's why we're all still close now.
And I can imagine you probably didn't have the pressure of like first team football over you at those times as well. It's just
no, it was. Some of us were kind of in and about training with them and stuff, but you weren't like you weren't a first team player. So that was like the highlight of like the best thing that most of us had done in our careers so far, and it was just it was brilliant.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Brilliant. I do think winning a national cup, and you never even said that you scored in the final.
Scored the third goal. I remember I had a hammy injury for like 3 weeks before, and I was like, just make it, and then thankfully got back fit like the week before, and then managed to play and scored, and had all my family and friends there. Just a moment that I'll remember forever.
That is brilliant, and I actually do remember what I was going to say to you earlier when you signed for Hibs, like your mum in particular, with your granddad having played for Hibs.
Yeah,
that must have been a great family moment. And it was this cup final. I was thinking there would be 2 different Hibs medals in the family, well, more than 2, but in the family trophy cabinet.
100%. Yeah, granddad played for Hearts and Hibs. So it would have been a proud moment. Definitely. I think obviously coming through at Hearts as well, we kind of got a taste of both teams. So she'd be happy that followed in his footsteps. I've done both as well. So
this has been really, really interesting. And it's like almost, I was just thinking there a minute ago, it's almost, you probably don't realise it when you're doing all those, like from 8 to 18. That's like a lifetime body of work to get your professional contract, which is, I just think it's fantastic. What would be your one bit of advice to your younger self or to any of the youth players out there today that are trying to navigate the world of youth football?
Just to focus on yourself and your development. Don't compare yourself to others, because people develop at different stages in youth careers, and some people do well kind of younger, and then if you're constantly comparing yourself to other people, you'll be thinking, oh, why am I doing this? Why can't I run that quick? Why am I that strong? And you're taking away from your own development. And I think you should just focus on yourself, focus on trying to make yourself better, and yeah, just worry about that.
That's a brilliant bit of advice. And actually, as you were saying it there, you're saying that to your youth self, but I think that's something I can take into like my work in everyday life at the moment.
Still
as
something
well.
I have to remind myself of now in my career now, because you've always got strikers that are scoring more goals. You've always got people that are playing better than you in different teams and stuff like that. You just need to focus on your own game, focus on what you're doing week to week in training, and then just focus on trying to make yourself better. And yeah, that takes away from a lot of hassle and stress.
Aye, I totally agree. Well, thanks a lot for this, mate. Hope you enjoyed it.
No worries. Thanks very
for
much.
doing it, and all the best for the rest of the season. You're currently, doing brilliantly, and long may that continue.
Yeah. Thank you. Cheers.